So in December of 2023, my coaching company hit its first 100K a month. And the way that we did this is we took our initial monthly revenue at the end of November, which was around $40,000, and we went ahead and we doubled all of the prices of our products. So up to that point, we had only sold something that is probably around a $2,500 price point, and we went ahead and we 2x that, and it led to us in the concurring month obviously doing $100,000. And today, I just want to show you exactly how we did that and how you can implement to your own business and almost immediately double your revenue with new prospects, how you can have them believe it, and how you can kind of justify it and make sure it actually happens in your heart and your business as well. So diving into that, going to be a few things we dive into. First things first is we need to understand what actually justifies price. And the one way to put the price in a simple fashion is going to be value. The price equals the value that we deliver them. And this is vice versa. You can flip these two around however you like. What impacts the value? And kind of how do we figure out the value of our service so far? Because a lot of people kind of just throw out a random number as their price that they see in the market, or maybe they think themselves are worth. So the way that we go ahead and we find out what the value of our actual product is first things first, we're going to have a transformation. Second thing that we're going to have is going to be a belief. And this is going to equal value over here. So to explain what I mean by this, transformation is the fundamental delivery of our product. So no, it's not the one-on-one calls or the software or the product they get. It is pretty much them going from point A to point B, where they start with your service and where they go when they're done. So fundamentally, if we're doing a fitness coaching offer, for example, what this could be is point A, for lack of a better word, we could be fat. And then point B will be fit. So we'll go from fat to fit. And that would be the transformation that we have. And to kind of spice this up and show you a little bit more what it actually looks like in reality, it's not just a straight path. Because in the middle of this, we've got this huge mountain. And this is what I like to call Mount Pain. Mount Pain is right here. And if someone were to try and go through this transformation alone, they would have to go through and they would have to climb Mount Pain. And pretty much what you as a service provider are doing is you're saying, no, don't climb Mount Pain. There's a better alternative out there. What I want you to do is I want you to dig through Mount Pain, because there's a tunnel that I found when I went there the first time myself, and it's going to be so much quicker, faster, and painless. And that is pretty much fundamentally how offers and transformations work. We are shortcutting them having to go over Mount Pain to go from point A to point B by saying and showing them a shortcut that we found, doing it ourselves, which is what gives us credibility as coaches. The second thing that we have is going to be belief. Okay, so we have a transformation, we take someone from fat to fit. Great. The belief. Why would they think it is true? So now what we have to dive into is what actually leads to this factor. First things first is social proof. The way to make someone believe that you can do what you say you can do is by first providing social proof. This is great. Everyone knows how to do it though. It's marketing, it's client interviews, it's testimonials, storing up stories, the stuff you're already doing. What I don't see enough people doing, and the actual way to justify the increase in your value and therefore price, is by giving away more free stuff. So, what do I mean by this? The more free stuff you give away, the more people get to watch and understand who you are and what you do. And if your free stuff is pretty much about 80 to 90% of the stuff you know about going through this tunnel of Mount Pain and sharing your journey, they're going to go like, oh crap, this guy's free stuff is already helping me go through Mount Pain with less pain. So as a result, they're going to be like, oh crap, what does he have for paid? And this is going to fundamentally create a belief in their mind that what you say your transformation is actually going to be true. And people are going to go from paying you for the information, which might be what you're selling now, to going ahead and paying you for the transformation, which is going to be the fact that you can assure that they go from point A to point B, kind of like a trusty guide. So instead of going through the hole alone, following your directions in a map, you're saying, no, I will literally go with you to Mount Pain again from the start, and we'll walk through it together, and I'll just walk through and make sure there's absolutely no pain, no rocks falling you, anything like that. And that fundamentally is how we create more value towards our offer. So once you've created more value towards our offer, the next thing that I want to talk about before we get into the second phase is going to be your internal beliefs. Because chances are, if you haven't increased your price, it's not because you don't know it's going to make you more money. It's because there's something in your head that is telling you that you can't do it and that there's a reason why. And these reasons are most likely that you don't think people can afford it, which would be number one. And number two is going to be that you don't think that you're worth it. You don't think that you're worth the money, so that you're not going to charge that amount of money because you don't think that the transformation you let people go through is worth it at all. So how do we solve both of these for you? Because I guarantee if you can solve it, you're going to make a lot more money. So the first things first, people can't afford it. The way to solve people not being able to afford it is to simply start attributing actual value to the transformation. So if we've got our offer, once again, let's say we're working with fitness, so we've got maybe a plan that we're giving them, maybe we've got a software that we're giving to them. What else can we add? Maybe we're adding one-on-ones, and then maybe we add like a gym discount. So a discount, and that is going to be the features of our offer from that Fat to Fit program we're talking about earlier. So I want you to break down everything like this, and I want you to just imagine you double your price. Whatever it is right now, just hold it in your mind and double it. So maybe it's $1,500. Let's say you're now at $3,000. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and attribute a value to what each of these things are worth. So first things first is you're going to want to attribute a value. We're charging $3,000. Let's say our plan is $1,000. Then let's say our one-on-one that we charge is $1,500. And then finally, let's say the software is worth $500 right here. And then as a result of all these things, the discount is going to be a free bonus. And that would be an example of how we can do this. Once you've attributed actual value to the features of your offer, instead of just kind of throwing it out there, you will have a way better gauge of what you're actually worth. And if you start to go ahead and do something like calculate your hourly rate, right? Let's say you're spending 20 hours with someone. If you calculate your hourly rate and you want to be a millionaire, you want to be a millionaire and make $1 million per year, that means that your hour, if you work 40 hours a week, has to be worth $500. So if you're doing 2 hours worth of one-on-one with someone every single week, you're giving them a crazy amount. You're giving them almost $4,000 worth of projected value based on where you want to be. So as a result, this offer now becomes a steal. And you really just have to understand what your own value is. And again, there's going to be a completely internal struggle of what you actually have to figure out. And I jumped to the worth it part. I'll go back to it for it in just a second here. But you really have to figure out, okay, where do I want to be and what does that person do? What kind of client results does that person get and how can it work? The next thing is going to be also understanding what gets results. So right now, you need to understand that people pay to pay attention. And when people pay, they pay more attention. So fundamentally, if you're not someone who invests in themselves, if you're not someone who goes ahead and pretty much buys other things, you're very cheap in your own life and you don't educate yourself, it's going to be very difficult to go ahead and justify to yourself that, oh, these people deserve to pay me this much. But I guarantee you the second that you start doing all these three things, and it's not kind of a hypocritical approach towards charging people, as a coach, you're going to be so much more comfortable helping people go through the transformations. Because you have to understand that someone has to be the upper market. Someone has to be the Gucci, someone has to be the Louis Vuitton, and that can be you, and you can guarantee people go through these transformations if you can simply understand that, hey, based on who I want to be and based on what I've done, this is what my hourly rate is worth. If I'm spending this much time with you, I'm going to go ahead and charge you this much for this transformation because, okay, you're going to be in shape for the rest of your life. And if you live another 5 years, let's say you live another 5 years because of what you've done with me, okay, you're going to get back who knows how many years of your working life. And if your hourly rate that you're making is going to increase because you have more energy and vitality, that's going to equal to maybe even $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 that you make back as a result of me getting you in shape. And you fundamentally need to understand as the person charging that, okay, if I'm allowing someone to go through this transition, I need to have confidence in myself that I achieve it first and foremost. Because you don't want to pay someone to not achieve something. If someone pays you $100, fundamentally, you are not guaranteeing that they achieve it. And as a result of that, they're not going to achieve it. And that is something that you're going to run into a lot. You charge $100 on school, or you charge $50 for a freebie, and you don't expect anyone to guarantee the result because, well, it's nothing. You get the guaranteed result when you pay a lot of money. So that is going to be the part about being worth it. And also the part about being able to afford it. Because again, they tie into one another. If the prospect can afford to go through the transition for all the reasons, the math of the things that they'll be able to achieve once they go through the transformation, it then becomes worth it to you, so long as in your personal life you are also investing and do invest and also are someone who believes in education and whatnot. If you don't believe in education, you're still going to be hung up on this. So that is going to be how you justify it to yourself and your prospects. Now the next step for you is going to be, all right, well, how do I roll this out for my coaching business? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to run what is called a database reactivation. And this is a quick way to pretty much get this offer off the ground, because here's what the big domino is for you. The second you sign one person on this new price point right here, something in your brain just clicks. Forever changes, and now that's your new standard. And it also means that you can say to your entire clientele, hey, I'm working with so-and-so and they're charging me this much. And because they're paying so much, they're going to get a crazy case study. And you can say, okay, the result under this transformation to go through this bigger amount pain is going to be absolutely astronomical. And another thing that you can do, even to double down on this, is if you are struggling to increase the price still, I want you to increase the length of your program. So maybe you're charging $1,500 for 2 months of service. What I want you to do, just to feel comfortable, is to take whatever that is a month. So that would be $750 a month. And I want you to stretch that out over a way longer timeline. So instead, I want you to charge now $4K upfront, or I want you to charge 3K upfront. Yeah, that'd be the number. And I want you to just remove 1 month off of it. So it'd be 3K for 3 months. And now you just drastically increased your price a little bit. And now, as you work with this one person at a time, you're going to add on a few more features. You're going to add on a little bit of one-on-one time once you calculated your hourly rates and whatnot. And then you're going to go ahead and charge that for the first person. And then every other person that you go on after that is going to have a big shift in your mind, and you'll be able to sell. And if you can do that, I guarantee you that you're going to double your coaching business. So if you're still watching this, just stop it and double your price.